Hello, back out again on my own today. Son's at college. So today I'm carrying on my series about the largest landowners in the South Downs National Park. You'll probably know if you've been following my videos that there's 12 landowners that own over 25% of the South Downs National Park. So who am I covering today? Well, today I'm covering number 3, which you might be surprised to learn because I would have assumed it would be number 1, but it's actually number 3 in the largest landowners, the National Trust. And they, scattered throughout the park, own 15,151 acres. So they're not the biggest, they're the 3rd biggest, surprisingly. Where am I? Well, strange enough, I'm on a National Trust property. I'll flick you around, tell you where I am. I'm actually at Cissbury Ring. That's looking down to the Findon Valley, Findon over there. Yeah, this is the, well, I guess that's the ditch. It was a Neolithic hill fort, and prior to that it was a, no, it was an Iron Age hill fort, sorry, and prior to that it was Neolithic flint mine. I have got another video on that, surprise, surprise. So there, this was like the rampart of the actual fortress, and there's the ditch. Don't know if it'd been filled with water, it probably would have been filled with oil or something. Anyway, so I'm walking around the ramparts, and I should probably go across through the middle as well, of Cissbury Ring, which is National Trust's 3rd largest landowner, and I'll talk a bit more about it in a minute. Okay, I'm just about in the middle. There's some cows over there. I don't know if you can see them, give me the eye. They seem quite friendly. I thought there was ponies up here as well. Anyway, first of all, thought I'd give you a little bit of history of the National Trust. So, how did it come about? What is it? Around about the end of the 19th century, I mean, you probably know a bit about history, but there's rapid industrialisation, and they were building literally everywhere, rampant, no planning laws, and it was sweeping away swathes of the countryside. I mean, like you can imagine Birmingham in the Midlands, how much was built up there. So in 1884, a lady called Octavia Hill, a bit more about her in a bit, she was one of the founders, and she asked to help preserve a place called Sayes Court Garden in London. So that's what sort of started off her interest in protecting places. And then the National Trust was founded in 1895 by Octavia Hill, Robert Hunter and Hardywick Rawnsley. And then in 1896 the first building was acquired, which was Alfriston Clergy House, not too far from here actually, Eastbourne Way, for £10. It's worth a bit more now. In 1899 they acquired the first nature reserve, which was Wicken Fen near Cambridge. So yeah, basically they were acquiring and protecting land. Fantastic. 1907 the National Trust Act gave it the status of a statutory corporation, so they were recognised. 1927 they bought the farmland around Stonehenge. You probably know that's National Trust, so that protects that. 1937 there was another National Trust Act, and it basically allowed them to accept gifts, country houses, land, tax-free. So, you know, a bit about why they own quite a few places around here. You probably know from my other estates videos, some of the housing and things have gone to the National Trust, taxed, that's why. So in 1945, they had their 50th birthday. They owned 112,000 acres, 93 historic buildings, and there were 7,850 National Trust members. The cows are ignoring me except for one, sorry. 1970, 75th birthday, 226,000 members, so it's growing rapidly. By 1981, there were 1 million members. 1995 and the 100th birthday, they owned 580,000 acres. So put that in a bit of perspective. I sort of think of an acre as a football pitch, but square. So yeah, that sort of size of land. I mean, the biggest land, I mean, this landowner, let's see, our last one was Leconfield, and that was about 14,000. Just gives you an idea. So in 2017, it acquired the White Cliffs of Dover. There's a song about that. And then finally, sorry, I'm trying to read my notes. Yeah, 2018, a lady called Dame Hilary McGrady took over as Director General. So in a minute, I thought I'd talk a little bit about Octavia Hill, one of the founders. Interesting story there. But just to give you an update, so currently it's 618,000 acres nationally, so it's the biggest conservation charity in Europe. It includes various places in the South Downs National Park, as I alluded to. So it's got Slindon Estate, Burling Gap, Drovers Estate. So a lot of places are protected, like Sisbury Ring. So it's brilliant what they do. Okay, I'll carry on and then talk about a little bit about Octavia. Catch you in a bit. Okay, I've made my way to the other side. So this is the north side of the rampart. So I just crossed over the top, and again you can see here, just show you, quite a deep ditch. Would have been quite formidable in its day. It would have been wooden palisades, well, wooden stakes and things like that, a long time ago. Yeah, and that's the actual middle of the ring up there, with lots of Neolithic mines. As I say, I won't go on about that because I've got another video. Right, I'll turn you around. Yeah, so finally, with my little chat about National Trust, being one of the biggest landowners, I thought I'd talk a little bit about Octavia Hill, because I did some research and her story was quite interesting. So she was born on the 3rd of December 1838. She was one of 9 children. Her parents were social reformers, helping poor people, things like that. And they opened a school to help the wretched poor. They had some interesting names back then. But yeah, they did. They were altruistic. But apparently the family fell on hard times and their father became bankrupt and abandoned them. That was, bankruptcy and things was pretty serious then. You might have heard they used to have debtors' prisons and things. You didn't just owe people money, they chucked you in prison for it. So when she grew up, she set out to improve working class living conditions. So she would buy neglected properties and transform them into somewhere nice and livable. Sort of the opposite of a slum landlord, I guess. A nice landlord. So she was a very caring person. And then she started again campaigning to preserve open spaces because, as I said, they were all being swallowed up. And by 1874, she had over 3,000 tenancies in London. So nice landlady can pay off. So that is good, yeah. And yeah, she formed the National Trust in 1895 with Robert Hunter and Hardywick Rawnsley, again, to try and preserve open spaces, preserve it for the people like me, who have it completely to themselves today. I think because it's a bit tristly and it's a weekday. Although actually, I'm saying that, I can now in the distance see one dog walker. Anyway, so to finish off the story, she died in 1912. So she's one of the founders. Sounds like quite a really amazing person, to be honest. Nice landlord, does great things for the environment. What more can you ask for? So that's really covering the National Trust. So I've got a nice little walk left to go round, so I'll carry on doing that, and I shall, unless something of note happens, I shall catch you in the car. Okay, back in the car. Lovely walk. Completely empty. Well, there were a couple of dog walkers up top in the end. Loads at the bottom. It's a well-known dog walking area. But yeah, raining. It's not that bad. Not too cold. Anyway, not to talk about that. Yeah, so the National Trust. That was number 3. Still 2 to go, one of which you might be able to guess because there's a glaring omission so far. Not sure you'll guess the other one, but yeah, there are still 2 more estates, bigger, more landholdings than the National Trust, would you believe? Okay, so I'll catch you next time. Bye.